Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian. And in today's video, well, it's inevitable. Here it is. The Man Who Fell to Earth from 1976. I've been hinting at this, that I would get here, and here I am. I mentioned Bowie a lot, and of course Nicholas Roeg. What a director. And here he is. Both of them together in a film that is just, well, it's an amazing film. And I'm here to tell you about my passion for this film and maybe trying to show you that people perhaps misunderstand this film as well a lot. Because though it's got a Rotten Tomato review, I think it's about 83%. That's more sort of reassessment. At the time, people were perhaps not so kind. And I often hear, even now, people sort of, you almost feel they're putting it down. They find it a bit, I think, weird. That is the word that they would use. They kind of put that against it and in a sort of a negative way. When it shouldn't be, I mean, if I went and said, "Oh, I think Kubrick's a bit weird," in his movies, they'd be absolutely what, But it's Nicholas Roeg, and I don't know why, but some people just don't seem to get Nicholas Roeg at all. And well, here he is in this great film. So, what can I say? The film cost actually $1.5 million to make, which I suppose is quite a lot, really. It's a British film, but financed, and Paramount got involved with it. But of course, they later dissociated themselves with it. It made $163 million, basically. I think it did pretty well, but that's, I suppose you could say, over the time, because as I say, it's been reassessed quite a lot. It's based on a novel by Walter Tevis from 1963. And I think that that novel is probably hardly even known about it. I mean, it's the theme, basically, a stranger in a strange world, if you want to put it like that. A science fiction theme that we often see and get and has been used over the years. And Nicholas Roeg really taps into a lot of these kind of things. So obviously it stars David Bowie as playing Thomas Jerome Newton, the alien who has come basically to Earth to try and save his planet, and particularly with emphasis on his family. There's a water shortage, drastic drought on his planet. It's catastrophic, basically, and he needs to come to Earth, get the water, and save his planet. That's all he's got to do. But that's the basic character he's playing, and it's a perfect role for Bowie, and everybody just has to, see Bowie. It's his role. It's just perfect. It also starred the Rip Torn. Now he's quite a well-seasoned actor, even at that time, and has had an immense career. He did have. Sadly, he's not with us now. He plays Dr. Nathan Bryce, who is very involved with the character. And then I think one of the great performances as well in the film is by the actress Candy Clark. She plays Mary Lou, who has a pivotal role in many ways about how Bowie character sees the earth and its culture and the way humans live. Some would argue in a way that she kind of opens his eyes, but in quite a negative way. We see it because she introduces him to alcohol, and that has a very negative effect on it. And yeah, so I mean, the story really revolves around this character, this alien character, trying to get enough money to create a space rocket or whatever to go back to his own planet, and he needs money obviously to do that in a private way. So he what he does, he creates this massive, well, it becomes a massive corporation, the World Enterprise as Corporation, that's what it's called, World Enterprise Corporation. And basically he has the technology and he uses that to build a company that is absolutely financially a giant. But of course, such a company having such influence is going to attract attention, which it does. And ultimately, this attention will lead to him basically, as well as other factors, not being able to fulfill what he wants to do. So that's how the story progresses. And you know when you watch it that there's a certain inevitability about it, as there often is. And the ending, I think, is rather sad. But really what Rogue is doing as a director is seeing us as human beings through alien eyes. You know, the film is that, you know, the wonder of somebody coming to Earth. It's beautifully filmed, and the New Mexico landscapes, which they filmed it in, are just great. And it's great because you get the contrast with this planet, because in that area you've got the deserts, the desert kind of look, and then you've got the sort of green mountain forest kind of landscape, and it's all mixed together. And this is going to be perfect. The idea is that he will he builds his like home, and from here he's going to launch and develop his rocket, basically, to send him back. But it's great to see the way that Rogue shows that landscape in contrast as an alien looking at it. So we see that beautiful side, and then the obsession that he has with televisions is really interesting as well, because he has this obsession where as an alien he's looking at our culture and he sees it through the world of television, and that is interesting. And then of course Mary Lou plays an important part in his understanding of what is sort of what Earth people are like. And unfortunately, she introduces him to alcohol. And I don't know why, it's kind of, I think alcohol is using to help his unhappiness, because obviously he's a very unhappy character because he's left behind his family and he wants to get back to his family, but a realization comes that he's not going to, and it's not going to be straightforward. And alcohol maybe kind of helps him through that, through his troubles, if you want, because he's clearly a troubled character who doesn't feel he actually belongs here, but he's having to be in our society to get what he wants, his aim. But ultimately, our society, you could say, corrupts him in some extent through alcohol, because he becomes its slave. He becomes an alcoholic, and it's part of his downfall. He's so brilliant at what he's doing that he's bound to raise attention, and he doesn't want attention, but that's what he's created with this corporation, and ultimately they want to know what's going on, the government and other corporations, rivals, and so eventually we know what's going to happen, and it does. And time passes by, and his whole aim sort of slowly, he loses what he wants on this planet. He realizes he's actually stuck here, and no matter what, he's not going to get back to his home planet. And that's what he's living with. And we see, as I say, Earth through his eyes, and we see the beauty mixed with the real sort of negative, bad things about humanity, the greed and the way people are with each other. And so the brilliance of Rogue's direction is he makes the film quite sort of alien. I think this is why people don't always get this film. They want their science fiction in a certain way. If you look at it, they expect it. But this film is delivering science fiction in a different way. I mean, you can almost hear them laughing when they look at, the special effects and the way the aliens are, and the way like we see this picture of a transporter on his planet. And you can almost hear them going, they're so blinkered the way they have seen science fiction that they don't get it at all. And I think that's what is a real strength of this film, that Rogue is able to show us a different view of how the world is in terms of a science fiction. It's beyond the genre, really. He's not limiting himself to what is expected in a science fiction film. And that is its real strength. And I think that is what people don't understand. Fortunately, some critics now do understand it. It's great. It reminds me of the film, and I'm very much influenced, Under the Skin, from 2013. Remember, starring Scarlett Johansson. It's a film I actually love, and actually I think we're expecting a 4K release sometime of that. I seem to remember. Anyway, I won't go too much about it. And that is a great film, and it reminds me of this, the way it's filmed, and I think there was definite influence there of the way we see the alien there. It's a good example, so I would check that out sometime if you've never seen it. Under the Skin, 2013. Anyhow, to get back to this, I think it's a film that the more, again, you watch it and see it, you gain to love and understand it more. That's what I find. I think people. I suppose it's fair, if you suddenly watch a film and think, oh yeah, I'm not getting this. You may not want to go and revisit it. You just might put it in that category, but it's worth revisiting. I mean, let's face it. I've tried and revisit. I have done for a long time. I've given up now. 2001. It just doesn't. It just doesn't do it for me like it should do. But I can understand that. Incidentally, this film has been made into a fairly recently, I think, TV series. I have not actually seen that, but I would consider it this is very separate from that. It's a film on its own and stands on its own. And it's a brilliant testament to the work of Nicholas Roeg. There's a lot of interesting things around Bowie. It's claimed in many ways that you can see he's very thin, and his own cocaine drug use was having an effect on the film. Others say no, it didn't, and it's just one of those stories. It's a lot of stories. But anyhow, it was assumed that he would do the music. Apparently, they did a bit of recording, but it wasn't. He wasn't. I think he'd lost kind of interest at that time in doing it. He was so into the role of the film that he didn't really progress with that. But on 1977's Low album, the cover is from The Man Who Fell to Earth, and there is apparently some music on there which he had written at the time, but it's not a great deal, but it's there on the album. What happened was that they brought another person in to do the musical soundtrack, and it works well. It does work well, I think, the musical soundtrack. It was John Phillips who was the leader of the Mamas and the Papas. And the thing was, the music, I think, reflected that, which the film does well. Have you noticed in the film, it covers time in a certain way. The way the time passes by right throughout the film, it has this feel, as we see. And the music reflects, this is what the composer said, Americana music, its development of the past. So we get the blues, we get the bluegrass, we get the rock, we get it all there. Because normally you might expect with a sci-fi sort of synth kind of music and what have you, but no, you don't get that. Or the John Williams approach, no, you don't get that at all. It's a look at the past to some extent, and you get that feel in the soundtrack. But it was never released. Never released, the soundtrack, until 2016 when the whole film was remastered. And the soundtrack appeared in this. Yeah, I'll just talk about this. This is the 40th anniversary box set of the film. The film was remastered, and it's a great box set. 40th anniversary, as I say, Blu-ray from a 4K upgrade. So therefore, I suspect we will hopefully get a 4K release of the film. But this box set is really nice, really hard. It's just great. I'll just show you. We've got here. Right, there's the, look at that. Absolutely brilliant, isn't it? And then here we got 4 discs. 4 discs. We've got the Blu-ray. We've got 2 DVDs with extras on as well. Well, the Blu-ray's got extras on as well. There's more extras on that. And then we've got the CD of the soundtrack, which was the first time it had been released, which is absolutely fantastic. It's fantastic. And then we get, I'll just show you other things. There's a nice poster here. Let me show you this. This poster. And then we've got a set of art cards on here. Brilliant art cards. And then we've got a booklet here, a smaller booklet. All sorts about the film, the actors. Gives you another good rundown. And then, even better, we get another big chunkier booklet. And this, absolutely fantastic. You know, you've got the script. You've got more images like this. It's such a great book. Look at that picture. It's just an amazing book. More so from anything. Anyhow, that is this edition, and it really is a great edition. Unfortunately, I don't know whether you can actually get it anymore. Maybe on eBay. I think it is out of print. I don't know, but I suspect when they do finally release it in 4K, we'll probably get maybe an edition like this. Yeah, again, hopefully. But this is a really nice edition. If you can get hold of it, then do. But I don't know. It might be expensive. I have no idea. But I'm really glad it's. I don't have a great deal of box sets, and this is one box set. I'm really glad I've gotten special edition, but it's such great film. I think HMV have the film on one of their special releases that they have. But that's it. It's just that. But this is an absolutely cool, brilliant box set, and well worth having. And I'm really pleased I've got it. So I think that's it. I mean, I could go on and on about this film. There's so much to talk about in it, but hopefully I might have given you an appetite for the film. Yes, I should get paid for this by publicising these films. But Bowie and Nicholas Roeg, great team, fantastic. Let's have more love. Bowie doesn't need love anyhow. He's already loved. He's a legend, and I'm sure, definitely sure, he's going to pop up again in a lot of my videos. He will do. Right. So that's it. All I'm going to say now is subscribe if you haven't, and we'll let you know. It helps a lot. Also, if you really do like this video, give it a like, please. It would be great, but if you don't worry. You don't have to. I'm not forcing the no. Anyhow. So I think that's it, really. All I've got to say is, I'll see thee, and I'll see thee again.